Hi everyone, it's Sarah. Welcome back to Free Daily English, and I am so happy you are here with me tonight. So tonight, I am cooking dinner at home, and I want you to cook with me. Now, cooking at home is something I really love. I know not everyone feels that way. Some people find cooking stressful or complicated. Some people would rather order takeout. Takeout means food that you order from a restaurant and have delivered to your home or pick up yourself to eat at home. Takeout is very popular in America. Very convenient, very easy. But for me, cooking at home is one of my favorite ways to unwind after a long day. Unwind means to relax and release the tension of the day, to let go of stress and settle into a calmer, more peaceful state. There is something so satisfying about making a meal from scratch with your own hands. From scratch, remember that phrase from my lazy Sunday pancake story? It means making something from the very beginning using basic ingredients, not from a pre-made package or mix. Tonight, I am making one of my all-time favorite dinners, lemon garlic chicken with roasted vegetables and rice. It sounds impressive, but I promise it is not complicated at all. The ingredients are simple, the steps are easy, and the result is absolutely delicious. So tie on your apron. An apron is a protective garment you wear over your clothes while cooking to keep them clean. And let's get cooking together. Before I start cooking, I always do one important thing. I read through the entire recipe first. A recipe is a set of instructions that tells you what ingredients you need and how to prepare a dish step by step. Reading the recipe all the way through before you start is so important. It means no surprises halfway through. You know exactly what is coming, what equipment you need, and how long everything will take. I have this recipe written in my notebook, a personal collection of recipes I have gathered over the years from friends, family, and cooking shows. This particular lemon garlic chicken recipe came from my mom. She made it for me growing up, and I always loved it. Now I make it for myself, and every time I cook it, it reminds me of home. That is one of the most beautiful things about food, the way a particular dish can instantly transport you back to a memory, a place, a feeling. Transport in this context means to take you somewhere emotionally, to make you feel as if you are back in a moment from the past, even just for a brief instant. Okay, let me tell you what I need for tonight's dinner. For the lemon garlic chicken, I need chicken breasts, garlic, lemons, olive oil, dried oregano, dried thyme, salt, and black pepper. Oregano and thyme are herbs, dried plants used to add flavor and aroma to cooking. Aroma means smell, a pleasant, appetizing fragrance. For the roasted vegetables, I need broccoli, cherry tomatoes, zucchini, and red bell pepper. Roasted means cooked in the oven at a high temperature until the outside is slightly caramelized and delicious. Caramelized means the natural sugars in the food have cooked and turned golden and slightly sweet. It gives vegetables a wonderful depth of flavor. And for the rice, just long grain white rice, water, and a pinch of salt. Simple and classic. I have everything laid out on my counter already. Laid out means arranged and ready, everything in its place before I start. I learned this from a cooking show. Professional chefs call it mise en place. Mise en place is a French phrase, pronounced mise en place, that means everything in its place. It means preparing and organizing all your ingredients before you start cooking. It makes the whole cooking process so much smoother and more enjoyable. All right, ingredients ready, recipe read, apron on, music playing softly in the background. Let's cook. The first thing I do is start the rice. Rice takes the longest, about 20 minutes, so it needs to go on first. This is one of the most important skills in cooking, timing. Timing means knowing when to start each component of the meal so that everything finishes at the same time and arrives on the plate hot and ready together. I measure out 1 cup of rice. A cup is a standard measurement in American cooking. 1 cup of rice makes about 2 to 3 servings. A serving is 1 portion, the amount suitable for 1 person. I put the rice in a medium saucepan. A saucepan is a deep cooking pot with a long handle and a lid. I rinse the rice first. Rinsing means washing under cold running water, swirling the rice around to remove excess starch. Starch is a natural substance in rice that, if not rinsed away, can make the cooked rice sticky and clumped together. After rinsing, I drain the water. Drain means pour off the liquid, keeping the solid rice in the pan. I add 2 cups of cold water to the rinsed rice. The ratio for white rice is always 1 cup of rice to 2 cups of water. Ratio means the proportion of one thing to another. I add a pinch of salt. A pinch means a very small amount, the amount you can hold between your thumb and forefinger. I put the saucepan on the stove over high heat and bring it to a boil. Bring to a boil means heat until the water is bubbling rapidly, large, vigorous bubbles breaking the surface. Once the water is boiling, I reduce the heat to the lowest setting and put the lid on. Reduce the heat means turn the dial down to make the flame or element smaller and less hot. Now the rice will simmer gently for 18 minutes. Simmer means cook on very low heat with small, gentle bubbles, much quieter than a full boil. I set a timer on my phone, 18 minutes. The rice is taken care of. Now I can focus on the chicken and vegetables. I move to the chicken breasts. I have 2 large chicken breasts on my cutting board. A cutting board is a flat, solid board used as a surface for cutting food, protecting the counter and keeping the knife from slipping. Mine is a large wooden cutting board that I have had for years. I love it. First, I pat the chicken dry with paper towels. Pat dry means press paper towels gently against the surface of the meat to absorb any moisture. Drying the chicken is important because moisture on the surface of the meat prevents it from browning properly when it cooks, and browning, that golden, slightly crispy exterior, is where so much of the flavor comes from. I place the dried chicken breasts in a bowl. Now I make my marinade. A marinade is a mixture of liquids and seasonings that you soak the meat in before cooking. It adds flavor and helps keep the meat moist and tender during cooking. Tender means soft and easy to cut and eat, not tough or chewy. For my lemon garlic marinade, I combined the juice of 1 lemon. I cut the lemon in half and squeeze it over a small bowl, catching the seeds with my fingers. Lemon juice is bright, fresh, and acidic. Acidic means sharp and tangy, the opposite of sweet. It brightens all the other flavors in the dish. I add 3 cloves of garlic, minced. A clove is 1 individual segment of a garlic bulb. A bulb is the whole head of garlic with all its segments joined together. Minced means chopped into very tiny pieces, almost a paste. I use my garlic press to do this quickly. A garlic press is a small kitchen tool that crushes the garlic clove through small holes, producing perfectly minced garlic in seconds. I love my garlic press. It is one of my favorite kitchen tools. I add 2 tablespoons of olive oil. A tablespoon is a standard measurement, larger than a teaspoon. Olive oil is a healthy cooking oil made from pressed olives with a rich, slightly fruity flavor. It is one of the most used cooking oils in American kitchens. I add half a teaspoon each of dried oregano and dried thyme. A teaspoon is a smaller measurement than a tablespoon. And finally, a generous pinch of salt and a good grind of black pepper. Generous means more than a tiny pinch, a good, liberal amount. Grind means freshly ground from a pepper grinder, much more flavorful than pre-ground pepper from a jar. I mix everything together in the bowl and add my chicken breasts. I turn them over several times, making sure every surface is coated in the marinade. Coated means covered evenly with the mixture. I let them sit for about 10 minutes while I prepare the vegetables. Even 10 minutes of marinating makes a real difference to the flavor. While the chicken marinates, I prepare the vegetables for roasting. Roasting vegetables in the oven is one of my absolute favorite cooking techniques. Technique means a particular method or way of doing something. Roasting brings out the natural sweetness of vegetables and gives them a beautiful caramelized exterior that you just cannot get from steaming or boiling. I wash all my vegetables thoroughly under cold running water. Thoroughly means completely and carefully, making sure every surface is clean. I cut the broccoli into florets. Florets are the small, individual tree-shaped pieces that make up a head of broccoli. I slice the zucchini into half-moon shapes. Half-moon means cut in half lengthways and then sliced across, making curved half-circle pieces. I cut the red bell pepper into chunks. Chunks means larger, irregular pieces. And I leave the cherry tomatoes whole. They are small enough to roast as they are. I line a large baking tray with parchment paper. Parchment paper is a heat-resistant, non-stick paper used to line baking trays. It prevents food from sticking and makes cleaning up so much easier. I spread the vegetables out in a single layer on the tray. Single layer is important. If you pile the vegetables on top of each other, they steam instead of roast, and you lose that beautiful caramelization. I drizzle olive oil over the vegetables, a generous drizzle, enough to lightly coat everything. I sprinkle over salt, black pepper, and a little dried oregano. Sprinkle means scatter lightly over the surface in small amounts. I toss everything together with my hands. Toss means mix by lifting and turning the ingredients so the oil and seasoning coat everything evenly. Using my hands is the best way to make sure every piece of vegetable is perfectly coated. I spread them back into a single layer and slide the tray into the preheated oven. Preheated means the oven has already been turned on and reached the correct temperature before you put the food in. My oven is set to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. In America, ovens use Fahrenheit rather than Celsius. 400 Fahrenheit is about 200 Celsius, a hot oven, perfect for roasting. The vegetables will take about 25 minutes until they are golden at the edges and tender all the way through. Now, the chicken. I heat a large skillet on the stove over medium-high heat. A skillet is a wide, flat frying pan, the most versatile pan in any kitchen. I add a small drizzle of olive oil and let it heat until it shimmers. Shimmer means the oil moves and ripples slightly in the heat, a sign that the pan is hot enough to cook. I place the marinated chicken breasts carefully into the hot skillet. The moment they hit the pan, that wonderful sizzling sound fills the kitchen. I love that sound. It means something delicious is happening. I cook the chicken for about 6 to 7 minutes on the first side without moving it. This is important. Resist the urge to move the chicken around the pan. Leaving it still allows a beautiful golden crust to form on the bottom. A crust means a firm, slightly crispy exterior layer packed with flavor. After 6 minutes, I use tongs to flip the chicken. Tongs are a kitchen tool with 2 long arms joined at one end, like large tweezers used for gripping and turning food in a hot pan. I flip both chicken breasts over. The underside is a gorgeous deep golden brown. Perfect. I cook for another 6 minutes on the second side. Then I check that the chicken is cooked through. Cooked through means fully cooked all the way to the center, not pink inside. I use a meat thermometer, a small probe thermometer that you insert into the thickest part of the meat. The internal temperature should reach 165 degrees Fahrenheit for chicken to be safely cooked. The thermometer reads 167 degrees. Perfect. The chicken is done. I transfer the chicken to a cutting board to rest. Rest in cooking means letting the meat sit for a few minutes after cooking before cutting it. Resting allows the juices to redistribute throughout the meat. Redistribute means spread back evenly. If you cut meat immediately after cooking, all the juices run out and the meat becomes dry. Resting keeps it moist and juicy. I set a timer for 5 minutes. The chicken rests while I check on everything else. I peek at the vegetables in the oven. Peek means take a quick look. They are looking beautiful, golden at the edges, slightly caramelized, and starting to smell incredible. I check the rice. I lift the lid carefully, letting the steam escape. The water has been absorbed completely and the rice grains are fluffy and separate. Fluffy and separate is exactly what you want. Each grain distinct, light, and perfectly cooked. The rice is done. I turn off the rice burner and leave the lid on to keep it warm. Burner means the heating element on the stove, the part that gets hot. The vegetables come out of the oven at exactly the right moment. I pull the tray out carefully using oven mitts. Oven mitts are thick, insulated gloves that protect your hands from the heat of the oven tray. The vegetables are golden, slightly charred at the edges. Charred means lightly darkened from the heat, giving a slightly smoky, deeply flavored taste, and they smell absolutely wonderful. Everything is ready. Rice done, vegetables done, chicken rested and ready to slice. I slice the chicken breasts on my cutting board. Slice means cut into thin, even pieces. I cut at a slight angle on the diagonal because it looks more elegant and also exposes more of the golden interior. Each slice is perfectly cooked, white and juicy in the center with that golden exterior. I plate the dish. To plate means to arrange the food on the plate in an attractive way. I start with a scoop of fluffy rice on one side. A scoop means a rounded spoonful. I arrange the roasted vegetables next to the rice, all those beautiful colors, green broccoli, red tomatoes, golden zucchini, orange pepper. Then I lay the sliced chicken breast over the top, overlapping the slices slightly for a beautiful presentation. I finish with a final squeeze of fresh lemon juice over everything, that bright, fresh citrus note tying the whole dish together, and a small scattering of fresh parsley, a bright green herb, for color and freshness. I step back and look at my plate. It is beautiful, genuinely, honestly beautiful. Golden chicken, colorful roasted vegetables, fluffy white rice, a squeeze of lemon glistening on top. I made that from scratch with my own hands. I carry my plate to the dining table and sit down. I pour myself a small glass of white wine. White wine pairs beautifully with lemon garlic chicken. Pairs means goes well together. A food pairing means a combination of food and drink that complement each other. I take my first bite of chicken. It is perfectly tender, deeply flavored with garlic and lemon and herbs, with that satisfying golden crust. The roasted vegetables are sweet and slightly smoky. The rice is fluffy and simple, the perfect base for everything. It is delicious, genuinely, completely delicious. I eat slowly, no phone, no TV, just me, my food, and the quiet satisfaction of having made something wonderful with my own hands. This is why I love cooking at home, not just because the food is good, though it absolutely is, but because of the whole experience. The preparation, the process, the smells that fill the kitchen, the quiet focus of following a recipe, the creativity of putting flavors together, and then that moment of sitting down to enjoy something you made yourself. It is one of the most grounding things I know. Grounding means something that connects you to the present moment and makes you feel calm and stable and rooted. Cooking grounds me. So, let me go through today's key vocabulary and cooking terms one final time, because this was such a rich story for English vocabulary. A recipe is a set of instructions for making a dish. Mise en place means having all your ingredients prepared and organized before you start cooking. A marinade is a mixture you soak meat in before cooking to add flavor. Mince means to chop into very tiny pieces. Simmer means to cook on very low heat with small, gentle bubbles. Pat dry means to press paper towels against food to absorb moisture. Roasting means cooking in a hot oven until golden and caramelized. A skillet is a wide, flat frying pan. Tongs are a kitchen tool used for gripping and turning food. Rest in cooking means letting meat sit after cooking so the juices redistribute. To plate means to arrange food on the plate attractively. And grounding means something that connects you to the present moment and makes you feel calm and stable and rooted. Cooking grounds me. So, thank you so much for cooking with me tonight. I hope this story was fun and helpful for your English, and maybe it inspired you to try making this dish yourself. Lemon garlic chicken is really not difficult at all. Give it a try this weekend. If you enjoyed tonight's story and you want to keep learning natural, real American English with warm, everyday stories, please subscribe to Free Daily English right here on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button below. It's completely free, and new stories come out every week, made just for you. Thank you so much for being here. Happy cooking, take care, and I will see you in the next story. Bye-bye.